Call to order. 7:05. City of Hazel Park City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Parisi.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Keaton.
Here.
Councilman LaCuro.
Here.
Councilman Webb.
Here.
Councilman Selman.
Here.
Invocation, Pledge of Allegiance.
Holy Spirit, source of all life, we gather together as the
We actually have a
elected.
minister.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see, thank you, I didn't see you, Pastor Barry, did you just?
You're doing a great job.
Andy,
I thought
it's a
that's
great prayer,
wonderful.
and you thank you, thank you.
Let us pray. Father, we are grateful for your favor upon the city of Hazel Park. We thank you for the new businesses and jobs in the city. Thank you for the bright outlook and future for Hazel Park. We are grateful for our city administrators, our city manager and his team, for our first responders, for the city council members. We ask your blessings upon all of them. May you keep our first responders safe, we pray. And Father, for the business tonight, we pray you would give wisdom in all discussions, and may all decisions be according to your will. And for all these requests, we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of agenda.
Support.
Aye.
The only reason I'm interrupting is because I'm here for a show cause hearing, and I do not see my address on here.
What address is it?
It's, number one says removed, it's 445 North Belfer.
Yeah, I believe that there was an agreement with Jeff Campbell on that, so we removed it.
Oh,
So
that's
you're
not
all
the
set.
understanding we had. We are waiting on Roger, that we, like ships crossing in the night.
That's all I know.
Okay.
Jeff's not here yet, so he did remove it.
Okay.
You don't
I'll
have to
stay for a little
stay.
while and see what's going on, and I'll see myself out. Thank you.
Special presentation.
Madam Mayor, the City of Hazel Park is very pleased to welcome two fine citizens here who've done something outstanding. They have created a farmer's market. So did you want to go to the podium? And I will call Lee McLaughlin and Jennifer Jackson to the podium. Or I can do it. And I'll read into the record. Hazel Park City Council, a resolution honoring Lee McLaughlin. Whereas Lee McLaughlin, along with fellow Hazel Park resident Jennifer Jackson, determined that the city of Hazel Park would benefit from having a farmer's market. And whereas Lee took it upon herself to undertake the training and education necessary to become a certified farmer's market manager for the state of Michigan. And whereas Lee McLaughlin diligently worked out the logistics, licenses, permissions, and responsibilities required to operate a farmer's market in Hazel Park. And whereas Lee McLaughlin devoted countless hours recruiting farmers and vendors for the Hazel Park Farmers Market. And whereas Lee continued to give of her time and effort to staff the market during the hours of operation, leading to a very successful first season. So, therefore, be it resolved, the Hazel Park City Council hereby honors Lee McLaughlin for her efforts to found and grow the Hazel Park Farmers Market, and we thank her for being an active, dedicated member of the Hazel Park community. And a mirroring resolution for Jennifer Burton Jackson, whereas Jennifer Jackson, along with fellow Hazel Park resident Lee McLaughlin, determined that the city of Hazel Park would benefit from having a farmer's market. And whereas Jennifer Jackson took it upon herself to undertake the training and education necessary to become a certified farmers market manager in the state of Michigan. And whereas Jennifer Jackson diligently worked out the logistics, licenses, permissions, and responsibilities required to operate a farmers market in Hazel Park. And whereas Jennifer Jackson devoted countless hours recruiting farmers and vendors for the Hazel Park Farmers Market. And whereas Jennifer Jackson continued to give up her time and effort to staff the market during its hours of operation, leading to a very successful first season. So, therefore be it resolved, the Hazel Park City Council hereby honors Jennifer Jackson for her efforts to found and grow the Hazel Park Farmers Market, and we thank her for being an active, dedicated member of the Hazel Park community. Madam Mayor, these two ladies have done a fantastic job starting, founding, initiating, and bringing forth the Hazel Park Farmers Market. What a fantastic first year it was, and this never would have happened without their efforts. Truly, they have created something new and special in the city of Hazel Park. And on behalf of the residents of Hazel Park, I want to thank them for their outstanding efforts and tell them how much we all appreciate them. And I personally will say, I really enjoy working with these two because they are always positive, they are always mission focused and mission oriented, and they just work hard to do the right thing to make that market go. Thank you. What a pleasure to work with you both are.
Madam Mayor.
Would you ladies like to say anything?
It's been a great first season. What we learned though, we would be nowhere without the countless number of volunteers that helped us. We didn't do this, just the two of us. It was you, it was Sharon, it was Mike from the DPW, or Parks and Rec, it was Robbie who stayed up till 1:30 in the morning sewing, bags for us to sell. It was Bethany who brought her own produce out of the garden for us to make money. It was everyone, anyone who cheered us on, anyone who came and spent their hard-earned money, anyone who spread the word. Thank you, all of you. It really takes a village to raise a market too. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to next year. Yes.
Thank you, ladies, again. Is Sharon Peters here? We'll read this into the record and send it to her. Hazel Park City Council, a resolution honoring Sharon Peters. Whereas Lando, Hazel Park's K-9 officer, is an extremely valuable member of the Hazel Park Police Department. And whereas serving as a police K-9 officer is an extremely dangerous role for any dog, as a K-9 is routinely thrust into hazardous situations while protecting our community. And whereas Sharon Peters realized the dangers that Lando faces on a daily basis, protecting the residents of Hazel Park. And whereas Sharon Peters generously donated protective vests and other safety equipment valued at over $2,000 for Lando to ensure that he is better protected in the line of duty. So, therefore, be it resolved, the Hazel Park City Council hereby thanks and honors Sharon Peters for her generous donation of equipment to protect Lando, and we extend to Sharon Peters our best wishes for all of her future endeavors. We will forward this to Ms. Peters, and again, it's generous people like this who give of their treasure to make Hazel Park a better place to live and to keep our K-9 officers safe. I think that's just great. And, just another example of the wonderful community spirit that we have here in Hazel Park. So we'll thank her and forward this to her.
Civic announcements.
Madam Mayor, we have a special guest here today. Our school superintendent, Amy Krupe, is here, and she wishes to address the Hazel Park City Council and the people of Hazel Park.
Thank you. I have a brief presentation that I'll pass to you if you'll give me just a few moments, and thank you for giving me a few moments today on your agenda. This November, we have a sinking fund village that will be presented on the ballot for the schools of Hazel Park. And I just want to take a few moments to tell you a little bit about it and hope that you will consider supporting it. But first I want to tell you and the citizens of Hazel Park a little bit about what it's not and what it is. First I want to tell you that I know that the citizens are aware that a year and a half, 2 years ago, the city of school district of Hazel Park looked to be in a deep financial deficit, and as a matter of fact it was. It was an $8 million financial deficit where we were overrunning our expenditures over our revenue. And the school board, in a bold move, took some stands, and they took some stands to look very differently at how we were staffed. And our staff members took very deep financial cuts, as I know the city did as well. And we were able to turn around our school district. And now, 2.5 years later, we are about $4.5 million in debt in expenditures over revenues. And so what we are bringing to you today has absolutely nothing to do with that. But I wanted to make clear to the citizens of Hazel Park that we are currently on the road to recovery, and we will be out of deficit in the next 2 years. At that same time, I want to let you know that all of the employees in Hazel Park received 2% raises last year, and we are turning our school district around. So there's a lot to be proud of what's happening in the school district of Hazel Park. And I also want to share with you that at this moment we are 100 students over enrollment of where we were last year. So that will bring in additional revenue of over $1 million in this upcoming school year. So a lot to be proud and happy of in the school district. However, the sinking fund is going to expire on June 30th, 2017. And so currently the way it's funded is at 1 mil, which only generates $260,000 a year. And this year, this summer, we completed a facility assessment that tells us that we have 27 million of needs that need to be fixed across our buildings. And that includes roofs, that includes boilers, that includes playgrounds. And as you know, the sinking fund can only be used for major repairs of the buildings. It cannot be used on salaries. It cannot be used on any other resources other than repairs to our buildings. The last time that our sinking fund was done, we had major repairs done, such as roof repairs, our parking lot improvements, our carpet for our high school auditorium, and sewer repairs done with these bonds. In 2012, the city of Hazel Park approved a $7.95 million bond that fixed the high school athletic fields and also technology. What we're asking for in the November general election, we're requesting 2 mills for 10 years for our sinking fund that will generate over $550,000 per year for us for the next 10 years. However, what we will be doing then is reducing our bond payment by 1 mil, so therefore our taxpayers will have 0 increase. Over the next several years, our bond will continue to decrease, and so then eventually there will be a reduced debt levy for our taxpayers. Some of the increases that were found that needed to be done, and you can see some of those pictures, is our playgrounds are extremely outdated, and you can see underneath there are no safety surfaces for our children to play on. Our roofing and our drainage are severely lacking within our schools. Our doors are not safe, so you can see around the doors throughout the schools that they're not properly secure. There's not proper safety latches on them. Our roof and masonry needs repairs throughout our buildings. Carpet and flooring needs to be replaced throughout our buildings. We don't have properly fire or AD safety rated doors. Our restrooms need to be renovated, and our heating and cooling systems also are in serious repairs. So what this would allow us is to have $500,000 a year that would go into a fund, and we would be able to prioritize every year what could be done within that amount of money that we have within our sinking fund. On the back here, we have the ballot language that'll be on there. We know that we've been extremely lucky in Hazel Park that our taxpayers have been supportive of our bonds in the past. We hope that you will help spread the word, that this will not be at any additional cost to our taxpayers. As a matter of fact, it would be, zero for them. But we need your help, especially since we're coming out at a late time for our taxpayers to not get the word out to them as we should have.
Madam Mayor, if I may, as city manager and as a resident, I think this is a good idea. And I want to speak a little bit about my relationship with this particular new superintendent. I have had more contact and cooperative engagement with this superintendent than I had with her predecessors in the previous 14 years. I think that she is placing this district in the right direction, and I think that passing the sinking fund has benefit for the entire community, because we now, as a city and as a community, have much greater access to the school district's facilities than we have had in the past. Tomorrow, for instance, we're going to sit down together and we're going to map out some cooperative endeavors for how the broader community can continue to make even more use of the facilities that they're paying for with the school district. She truly has a community schools vision in which she believes that the school district is community property. And it is a refreshing breath of fresh air, because I think that we can use some of those facilities to better serve all of our residents through our recreation programs and other endeavors working cooperatively together. So that's my 2 cents on this. If anybody has any questions of me, I'll be happy to answer them. But I'm sure Dr. Krupe will be able to answer those questions as well. So I invite you to ask those questions.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I think it's important that we reiterate how this is going to work. As I understand it, the sinking fund expires, but we're paying 1 mil on that now.
Yes,
You're asking for 2 mils,
yes,
but you're reducing the bond payment
by 1 mil,
by 1 mil.
yes,
So we will not see an increase of anything.
right,
It will be an extra 10 years on the sinking fund, but one reduction will compensate for the other, and it will be status quo on your taxes.
yes.
I think that's important that
Right, this
is
is
explained.
This is not a net increase. This will simply give them more flexibility to maintain the facilities.
It just dedicates those dollars directly to the buildings and nothing but those buildings.
And like I
Which is
said,
great for the resident that actually wants to make sure the dollars go to the schools. That's the way it should be.
and the community itself as a whole, we all benefit from this because, again, she's been so generous and I want to thank her and the school board for this, in making those facilities available to the broader community. This really is a very different, much more cooperative relationship that we now have, and I think we're going to be able to offer a lot more programming with their cooperation than we ever have done in the past. So I think this is a pretty good idea. And we need to attract students to our district as well.
I have one question. Go ahead. What do you contribute the uptick of enrollment this year? Do you think it's part of the demographic changes to our community, of people moving in with more families, or do you think it's more outsiders enrolling their children here and being open borders?
I think it's both. I think we have, because our uptick happened before the close, so we were able to extend our enrollment until Friday. And so I think we have some from outside of Hazel Park. I also think we have community members coming back to Hazel Park. I think we've been able to communicate some of the changes that are happening within the school district. So I know we have families coming back. We also have families moving in. And so a lot of times when I see the files come across my desk of new students, all of them come across my desk so that I can look at the discipline records of students and make a determination of what school or where they are going to. Many of them are Hazel Park residents that are coming in.
I've seen a lot of families move in over the last few months.
Yes.
That a lot of homes that were empty are being filled with 3-4 kids
Yes.
in the homes. So it's really a nice sight to see.
And sometimes 6 children.
Yeah.
I have some families that have 6 children, and they're really excited. They've heard great things about Hazel Park, and that's what I continue to hear, is they've heard great things about the community. You know, I was at downtown at the Jaquinder Cut this weekend at an event, an art event, and I was talking to some individuals there, and they said, wow, you know, you're a superintendent in Hazel Park. We've heard fabulous things, and he's a professor at U of M. And he said, I've heard fabulous things about the up-and-coming Hazel Park. He has friends that are in Ferndale. So, I mean, we have a lot happening. Everyone knows I get goosebumps when I talk about Hazel Park and the great things. It's not just the schools, it's the city. And I think we have a great future ahead of us.
Speaking of 6 kids in a home, I had some people move in across the street from me in a house that's been empty for a long time. It's been a long time since I've heard big wheels running up and down the sidewalks. So the other day I was sitting on the couch, I got the windows open, the weather was really nice. And I'm like, what's that noise drowning out my TV? It's a big wheel. So, but it's nice. It's nice to see a lot of children moving back in the community, in the area. It's different demographics than we had when my children were growing up. We had a lot more kids on the street. Now it went to almost none. Now it's coming back. It's really nice.
It's really exciting.
It is exciting.
And I thank you for all your support from the city. I think it has to be a school-community relationship, or it doesn't work.
Councilman Sullivan?
Thank you. I can attest to what City Manager Klobuchar has said, and that is there has not been a fraction of collaboration in past years as there has been since the arrival of this superintendent and this current Board of Education. And it is so healthy for our city. And if you have any doubts about this sinking fund millage, please call the Board of Education office for further explanation, because they will happily explain it to you if you have any questions and you are unclear about what this is. I urge everyone to vote yes on it.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And for your time this evening, very much so.
Well, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the city of being a proponent of looking out for our community as well, coming into an area you've not been familiar with, and coming from Illinois to here. It's a big change. And with your attitude and your professionalism is really rubbed off here. Thank you.
Well, Hazel Park is a great place to be every day. Thank you.
Okay, we're on to civic announcements. Beth Holland?
Madam Mayor and Council, Administration, Beth Holland, 305 West Milton. I wanted to share an update with you. We had a second vaccination clinic with Animal Control and Rescue Partner Paw Pet Adoption Alternative of Warren. The numbers are a little bit lower than what we had with our May clinic, but a total of 79 pets were seen, total of 17 microchips were issued, and let's see, where was that fun number? There were 4 cats that were issued cat licenses during this event. So 25 licenses total, and 4 of those were cats. It doesn't sound like a lot, but since May 1st we had a clinic, and then we had the microchip clinic during the farmers market, which we're grateful for the opportunity to participate at the market. So this year so far, in just 5 months, we've had a total of 83 microchips on Hazel Park Pets. And I will tell you all a very funny story. It seems like every time I come here I've got one, but I don't make these things up. This morning, Animal Control was called out to Kroger. Apparently, a black lab decided to go shopping. She wandered in, was wandering around, and a resident sat outside until ACO Justin could get there. And lo and behold, she had a beautiful Hazel Park dog tag on. She had a medallion with her name and her owner's phone number on it, and she had a microchip. So it was just a matter of moments before she was delivered back to her owner, who happens to live right around the corner from Kroger. And this young lady decided she was just going to walk herself to the store. So the joke is there was a sausages sale. I guess in conclusion, I would like to thank everyone for their support. Council has, and administration have made resources available. This is a very small facility, and we have wealthier communities around us that contract with county for all their services, meaning if your pet gets lost, you gotta go to Pontiac to retrieve it. And Hazel Park has seen fit to offer this service here in Hazel Park. And I just encourage residents to take advantage of the licensing, and the microchip is $25 at All About Animals. That is the one thing that will get your pet home. And even with the budgets, there's always shortfalls. There's animals that come in that are injured. We have one cat right now that needs to have eye surgery. He's got a scratch on it real bad. It's about $350. And what we're doing is a fundraiser, and you can get a fabulous Hazel Park Animal Control t-shirt. They're $20, and every single penny of the money that's made on these shirts goes to the medical bills for, unexpected medical bills for the animals. And you'll notice the colors. So, and it just says a paw print and AC, which stands for animal control. So I'd like to thank you all, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy Arbury.
Hello. Rock Company.
Hi, Richard Gage.
Yes, so this is Rick Gage. I'm Amy Aubrey. We're both board members. I have an exciting announcement today. We're quickly approaching the month of October. October 22nd is going to be the annual Arttober, which is an art walk through the city. We're going to have various studios from our local artists open to the public to come do tours, check out some art there. We're also going to be highlighting murals throughout the city. We've got several murals in the city. And then we have a few outdoor installations.
So I've coordinated with some of the building owners and new property owners in the city, as I did last year, to put art in the vacant storefront windows. Last year, we basically had 2 storefront windows, and I was able to get, now I have quite a bit more. At the south end, a friend of mine is putting into business. Some people near Little Gray. I got the community, near my building, kind of pretty much involved. We got a lot going on there. We have the vacant building next to me, and we have the dance studio across the street. An interesting thing that happened when I was out there kind of trying to find placement for various things that I had in mind is I approached one local businessman, and from a historical perspective, in 1975, there was a group of artists out of San Francisco called the Ant Farm, and they approached a wealthy business owner in Amarillo, Texas, and to do a project. And that project is called the Cadillac Ranch. It's off of Interstate 40. In talking to one local business owner, he asked what would we put there and whatnot, and I said, anything from a donated piece for this temporary exhibition that we have that's going on up till the 22nd of October, all the way up to something permanent. And he graciously accepted to basically put in his lot under private funding what amounts to another art park. And although this is kind of like a generous representation of what it might be, I think it's going to be really awesome. What you find in Amarillo is daily people are visiting this place and looking at this and doing work on it, and those people. And it's a series of Cadillacs that have been buried, indicating each of the tail fin developments from all the years up until the 60s. And although we're not bringing Cadillacs in to do this, we're doing silhouettes. It'll be a really nice installation. It'll be a fun installation and visible as drive-by, as a lot of these things are that we're doing for October, although this gentleman is expecting it to be a permanent installation. So I think it's really going to be a great addition, and he wants me to complete it in time for October 22nd, and that's our goal.
So I also want to tell everybody, if you have not liked our Facebook page yet, we do have a Facebook. We also have a Twitter, and we have an Instagram. We will be, up until October 22nd, posting some sneak previews of some of the art that we're going to have. We are working on finalizing the map. The map will be made available at City Hall as well as a couple other locations throughout the city. So it will be a map of all of the art in the city that you can walk, drive to, not just October 22nd, but leading up to October 22nd, because we do have some great murals in the city that we want to highlight. Those are there year round. So definitely go online, like our Facebook, everything, check that out. Keep an eye on all the updates that we're going to have. We will be having a raffle at the event as well. And one of our other fundraisers is we're going to have our t-shirts. So we have the Hazel Park Arts Council t-shirt. It is a map of the city. It highlights all of the parts. So it's a really great, cute little thing. And it is only $15. So come visit the different studio spaces. Check out what our local artists are doing. Check out a lot of great things that are kind of growing and happening here in the city. And we look forward to seeing everybody then.
And what you'll start seeing is in these locations, we have signs being made that art is coming, so that as pieces get placed, those signs will still remain. It will give an indication for people as they kind of come up, driving around the city. They'll know that this is going to happen, and as art gets in there, that's static, and as drive-by, people will be able to enjoy that in the meantime. And I forgot to mention the location of that this big project is 22655 Chrysler Drive.
Right near Cambridge Animal Clinic.
And Clark and Schoenberg, right in between there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more civic comments, announcements? Civic announcements? Close civic comments.
Madam Mayor, before you do public discussion, I just want to say, you can see today, and I think everybody watching at home on TV, we're going to see this on tape delay, how many volunteers that we use and how critical they are to the city of Hazel Park. We had a chance to honor Jennifer and Lee for the farmers market. We've heard Beth updating us on the wonderful things that are happening with our animal control. Now we've got Amy and Richard talking about the things that the Arts Council are doing. A lot of cool things happening in the city of Hazel Park, and a lot of these things are happening and driven because people care enough to get involved in their community. So I think that's what makes Hazel Park a fun place to live and to manage.
Public discussion. Arizona, James, yay?
Yay.
Okay.
That's enough.
Are they together? Both of you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I
Nope.
thought you were.
Sorry. My name is Arizona. Thanks for your time. I've been in front of you guys a couple times before. This would be my third time. My palms are still sweaty a little bit. So the reason I'm here is because I ran across a couple of properties that you guys had placed on the demo list. I believe it was sometime last October. So I recently, and when I say recently, I just mean like 2 days ago, ran across these two properties in particular, sold them that I am able to fix and to have a family move into those. And then when I checked with the city, they said that they were already placed on the demo list last October, and the 21-day period for that to be reversed had obviously come and gone. So I guess my question is, these houses have not been demoed yet. I don't know where they are in the process of being demoed, but my question is there any way we could go back to at a point which would allow me to post bond on these properties and fix them up? And I know she's shaking her head, and there's no. I'm a general contractor. Usually, depending on the property, I've seen houses being demoed from $5, $7, $10, $15, $20,000. If I can have the city save that money to demo those properties, in the meantime, by profiting myself to purchase them, to fix them, and to use them for my business. I just kind of saw it as the obvious answer, but I'm sure there's something I'm missing. So I guess I would
you have 3 houses right now?
Those 3 houses I placed on there were the 3 houses I'm interested in. These are the properties, 2 of which I can literally purchase, maybe not by Friday, but by Monday morning, if the city council will allow to simply, I don't even know what the next step would be, put a hold on the process and then allow me to, I've seen the properties from the outside because I'm not able to go inside. Thanks for the wonderful work. I got, from the Freedom of Information Act, I got the list of what is wrong with the property. I've estimated how much it would cost. I have, my daughter yanked it out of the printer before it was out, but I have an available balance that will prove that I have the money in liquid to be able to do that work. I feel like I'm getting blank stares, but I guess my question is this something I can do? Is this something we can go back on the table and say, okay, this property, we voted to deal with because nobody was taking care of it, but since you're here, go at it. Is there any way, is there any legal possible way? The attorney is shaking your head no, so, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
Legal opinion?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, other than a legal opinion, you guys have done this in the past. I've ended up in court with the people who do this. They get multiple houses here, then they end up getting demolished again anyways. We have to chase them. Christopher Smiley, we all know him very well. He's one of them. And the thing is we're spinning our wheels now, constantly bringing the same houses over and over. You've got one tonight. That's been since 2010.
Last time?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry,
I didn't interrupt you. Thank you. Legally, we've got an order that's in place. They have 21 days in which to challenge it. We've got the process of sending out bids, of signing contracts that we're responsible for demolition.
May I speak?
That's up to the mayor.
May I speak?
That's his name.
What do you want to say?
Well, I understand the frustration. I'm sure that happens all the time. The only thing I'm responsible for is me. And last time I was here, we were talking about 2 of my properties that were both placed on the demo list. And at this point, both of those properties have families in them with kids and paying taxes on them, and they're all kept up, and they all have the landlord license on them. So I'm only responsible for me. I've shown, at least I hope I've shown some kind of a track record with the city that I'm able to do this, and I'll just talk about it. And again, I understand frustration. The way I looked at it was, this would make sense. If it's doable, this would make perfect sense. Why have the taxpayers pay to demo this property when you can have a taxpayer fix this property?
2 of those homes you got on that list are severely deficient. The one on Davie is sunk in the ground by 2 feet. The one on Myers has a huge hole in the roof and the foundation's cracked. That's why we don't take demoing a home lightly. I guess I'm saying, we understand your track record. I guess what I was saying, we don't take them lightly why they're on that list, because we'd rather have them built and renovated if we could. But at one point or another, you have to make a decision based upon the severity of the home.
I understand that very well.
They've been on that list, and like the lawyer said, we've sent out bids, we've done all that money we've expended out on this, done the hearings. What would make our change their mind now? After they've sat another year.
They will not sit another year. Let's just, okay, so 3 properties, I can see how it could be a little overwhelming, say there's no way we're giving them three properties. So let's talk about one property in particular, the 329 Elsa. This is the list of renovations. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What is the property address there?
329 East Elsa.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going in circle, but I feel like I can renovate this property. I feel like I can do it fairly quick. So if, obviously I can't do all 3, but if we're talking about just one, I would like to pick this one, and we can, like I said, I can purchase the property by Monday, I can post bond by Tuesday, I can, you know, at least secure the perimeter and the outside, clean all debris, start working on the roof and the windows, you know, mid next month. So these are concrete numbers, and
There's no number, kind of.
well,
Madam Mayor,
uh,
while I appreciate this gentleman's genuine interest in investing in our community, I would remind you all that these homes have gone through the process. Neighbors were given opportunity for public comment, and now many have the expectation that these eyesores will finally be on the road to demolition. So my recommendation to you as your administrator is that you stay the course and you continue with the demolition process for these particular homes. There may be some homes in the future where this gentleman, before they get to this point in the process, may be able to intervene, invest, and do a good job. But I think in this case, your wisest and most prudent course of action is to stay the course and follow the orders that you have already issued. Again, they've gone through certain legal processes at this point. I think, again, no knock on the individual, not saying anything about his credibility. I, believe he believes he would be able to do this, and he may very well be able to, but that may not be in the best interest of our community.
The gentleman did do a nice job on the one home
Yeah.
that I remember him doing.
2 properties.
I know, but the one I remember.
The one on Jarvis, it was
The one I remember.
we last.
In the future, you can't come and save them
You know what? You're right.
from the guillotine right before the date of the execution. So you need to get a little further up in the process and purchase them and renovate them before they ever get to this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, we are all about renovating houses that can be renovated. I mean, you have seen that, but again, I don't know if I agree with the analogy. I would use the wrecking ball analogy. Is you can't come and ride the wrecking ball into the side of the house and, and save it. You're gonna have to, and I'm sure that the administration will work with you and let you know when would be your opportune time to come in. Of course, you can get them really cheap now because the wrecking ball is there. But you could probably get them for almost that cheap a little earlier. And I think that's what we need to see.
Well, that's what I would like to see, is just that, in the future, talking about.
The
right now,
process
about this particular
that leads
house.
to demolition is a public process. We have hearing officer hearings, they happen every month.
Wednesday.
There are Wednesdays, those are published, those are public meetings that are open to the public. It's much sooner in the process where you could possibly intervene on maybe a home that might be a good investment earlier and have some reasonable expectation that you may be able to get that home and actually do something with it. At this point, these homes are extremely bad. I mean, Councilman Webb laid out, I think, quite comprehensively how bad those homes are.
Again, okay, so, and I agree with you, these houses do need excessive work, and I'm just gonna table 2 of them. I literally wanna talk about one house in particular, because, we can disagree about what, and I don't wanna take all your time, right? When I'm
Number
hearing.
one, it would be inappropriate for council to even make a motion on this, because you have to have a public hearing. And
Yes.
the public has the right to talk about it.
Yes.
So you're talking about this one particular house does no good. They don't have anything in
Yeah.
front of them, they don't have a public hearing, so they can't act anyways.
So can then I do that? Can we?
No.
No. This
Let's
is
go.
over. This ice bridge is already under the water, okay? Like I said, in the future, look for other homes that are
being
not so
able to
far
demolish.
along in the process, okay? These have already been ordered demolished. This is it. This death sentence is already ordered, okay? They're gonna get knocked down.
Here's
So
on
This is over.
somehow.
Yeah, no, I simply,
I think
at
you're
least I was thinking, my naivete thinking that,
No.
why would the city spend the money to have the house
I
demolished?
think you ought to take
Yeah.
the administration's thought process here and go to the hearings officer meetings that is the first stage when someone's home is going into that particular process before it comes to us for demolition consideration. That they may not have the money to renovate the home, you may be able to buy the home and renovate it before we see it, because we don't wanna see the homes to be demoed, we'd rather see them renovated.
Well, there are some homes
And
that are
there's
so
sometimes there's
bad
really,
that
there's
was
some,
bad.
yeah.
It's simply not worth anyone's time, effort, and misery to even begin to undertake a renovation because it's not gonna work. So it's obviously not gonna work. So, and I think certainly at least one of those homes is in that category, probably two of them.
Yeah.
So again, it's, this process is already done. But if you go to the hearing officer, they're not so far along the process, and there is some opportunity to reach an agreement with the hearing officer and renovate those.
Those homes we can work with you on.
This is done.
I appreciate you guys for your time. I hope I'll see you again.
Don't get discouraged.
I won't.
It's not a knock on you, no one has anything bad to say about you.
Thank you.
Good work.
It was nothing personal.
It's
Again,
not.
I simply figured,
It's the
why stop?
process.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Close civic announcements and public discussion. Consent agenda. Yes.
I got off track here, I wanted to say something under civic announcements.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to let everybody know that we had a great man pass away just recently, Mel Rasmussen. And he was a superintendent of schools here, and I just wanted to recognize him, and especially his family, and our thoughts go with his family. He did a lot of good in this community and served this community well. And I just wanted to remember him as such. Thank you.
And Madam Mayor, I'll also, during civic announcements, take this opportunity to thank our fire department, our police department for the outstanding work that they did at my parents' house at 12:30 this morning when my mother called me complaining of some severe chest pains. And I'll tell you, they were there in literally 2 minutes. They did a fantastic job with her, and thankfully it was not a heart attack and doesn't look like it's going to be anything serious. But for a few minutes there, we were really uncertain of what was going on and what was happening. And I want to thank our firefighters and our police officers. That's why you need another example, I got to see firsthand, of why you have to have those departments adequately staffed so that they can protect the residents of this community. So good job, Hazel Park Fire Department, good job, Hazel Park Police Department. And again, we had a house fire as well too. And there were some very courageous actions undertaken at this house fire by both our fire department and our police department. So I'll be speaking with both chiefs tomorrow. We may be bringing some folks before you for commendations. So again, great people work here. This is a great city. It's well protected. And again, our employees there in those two departments and all of our departments do a great job. I got to see it firsthand. They were extraordinary.
Thank you. Now we're on consent agenda 1 to 14.
Mayor Parisi,
Yes.
move to approve the consent agenda with discussion.
Support.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Jan Drum has made several modifications to two ordinances, and I believe Councilman Keaton has a couple of things he wants to comment on with respect to other agenda items, and any other council people may have something as well.
If I could start off first with the dumpster ordinance. If you look on page 3 and go down to paragraph O, as an asterisk. It is the fourth line down where it says permission must be obtained from the building department and the police department. It's supposed to be the fire department and the police department so that they don't interfere with our rescue of anyone or anything. We have to have their permission. So we want to change building department to fire department. Other than that, this would be passed on first reading.
And then do you want is there any
No,
modifications?
they got the new one. Yes,
Brief ordinance.
our most efficient clerk sent them all out.
Okay.
Mayor Parisi.
Yes.
I have
Which item number?
Number 6, page 6. I believe this was presented by the county in the way we received it. And they're showing that our clerk and register of deeds would sign this, and we have no one as such, so it would be just the clerk of the city of Hazel Park. Minor, but since this is an agreement and it says final agreement,
Well, according to the city charter, it is the mayor, except for you guys pass a resolution every January to allow the city manager to sign on behalf of the mayor, and the city clerk have to sign all contracts. So that's why they have clerk dash register of deeds. We can strike through the words register of deeds.
okay, well, elsewhere, I'm not sure if it's in this agreement, but the county has referred to the clerk as the clerk, city clerk.
We can have them make those corrections.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Mr. Keaton?
Yes.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
The only thing I have is items 3 and 4, the dumpster regulation and an ordinance to amend Title 8 of the Health and Safety by adding Chapter 8.45, blowing grass clippings and raking leaves. Both of these ordinances are an effort to correct problems that we have come across in the past that citizens have brought to our attention. One is, people coming in and parking a dumpster in their yard for 6 months at a time and not doing anything to their house. So not only do the people have to live next door to a dilapidated house, but now it's a dilapidated house with a dumpster in the yard. And this will help curtail that. The grass clippings, obviously, we want to make sure that the sidewalks are not covered by leaves and left forever, and that those leaves and grass clippings are not raked into the gutters, which then clogs up the sewer system, and we have to go out and suck out the sewer system, and it's just, if the road doesn't flood and freeze before we get out there. So these are things it might not look like it when you look on the agenda, but they're important things in the everyday life of a Hazel Parker, and so these things are something that we should be aware of. That's all I have.
Are we still on the Senate? Yes.
Well, if there's no further comments, you can just call the question.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And we're administrative report.
Administrative report number 1, Mayor and Council. Jeff Campbell had planned to be here. He just texted me. He was on his way. He was tied up. But I will go ahead and brief you on this. We were approached by 2 members of the County Treasurer's Office requesting us to participate in a new program that they have that will expedite foreclosure proceedings against buildings that are clearly and obviously abandoned. This would allow us to shorten the duration of time that we need to foreclose by 1 year. We also raised with the treasurer concerns about various payment plans that have been undertaken in the past, and requested that they consult with us and develop a new set of guidelines before they offer a payment plan. So I would respectfully request that we pass this, participate in this program. It does not obligate us to any specific level of participation, but it does open up the avenue for us to participate. They have requested that it be approved before the 1st of October so that they can proceed with this program.
So moved, Mayor. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Yes.
I just wanted to say this is another quality of life issue here in Hazel Park. I mean, anybody who's come there, watched these meetings will see time and time again, this house has been vacant for years and years, and this is an effort. It's about time the county has come up with something like this that will help that process along. So hopefully we won't hear too many more of those years and years. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
We're still in administrative reports.
Item 2, the approve the pilot local road improvement matching fund program. Madam Mayor, this is the program that County Commissioner Helene Zach briefed us on earlier this year, that the county is providing us with some funds to fix a local road. We were chosen the Wood Heights between the Service Drive and John R. That particular proposed project matches the level of funding that we have, and the administration urges council to approve this matching fund program.
Mayor Parisi?
Yes.
Move to approve the pilot local road improvement matching funds program.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This is something that our county commissioner brought to us, was talking about at the last meeting. Just to let everybody know.
Again,
And it's a great program.
Yes, absolutely, Councilman. An era when the state of Michigan simply cannot get it together in terms of local road funding, because what they have given us is not really a significant increase in local road funding. It's almost a joke, given the scope of decaying infrastructure that this city, that this state has, including the city. The amount of money that they have provided in terms of their increase is simply a drop in the bucket. So I'm glad to see the county is attempting to actually do something to help us address these problems.
Number 3, fire station bay door replacement.
Madam Mayor, the administration respectfully requests council approve the bid from FJF Door Sales with a quote of $23,655. The current bay doors opening system is inadequate, and again, this needs to be replaced. I do so hate to spend money, but
I just have one caveat. I would ask that the chief procure a copy of the warranty on these doors.
Good.
and again, Chief Story would be here today, but he hurt his back earlier, so he is out today.
Motion to approve. Mayor.
Support.
Discussion. Question. On the proposal that the chief is recommending that we approve, it says total cost including tax.
We don't have tax. We're tax exempt.
I understand that, but
We'll make him aware of that and adjust the contract accordingly.
that's what I was hoping to hear.
I have a question for the administration, Mayor. How many bids did we get on this particular?
I don't know unless they're here.
We're ready to get at least 3.
And were they competitive?
They're pretty close.
Just curious. And do we have a history of using this company or a background?
Are you aware of anything? I'm not aware of anything.
I mean, you're asking for a warranty,
Yeah, the chief has dealt with these manufacturers before. He's got other fire departments that have also. These were the 3, he was instructed to take the top 3, which he did, and he got the bids.
Thank you.
Number 3, we didn't do it.
It's all done there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. boards and commissions.
Mayor Parisi,
Yes.
move to remove tabled item 1 416 East George, show cause hearing, and
Support.
All in favor?
I
Motion
move to refer this item to the administration.
As I informed some of the council that were here earlier, that this house was sold. We already have the new person in the process of doing the renovations. This is one of those homes that somebody came in at the right time to purchase it and started the renovations before it ever got to council.
Oh. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Business license approval.
You can leave that one on the table.
Get to it. Any new business?
Yes, ma'am, Mayor.
Thank you.
We have a current vape shop that's opened up in the south end. I talked to you about it, and I went in there, but I was next door to a friend's house, and my wife and her were talking for an hour or two. So I decided to go over and see what this establishment was. I've never been in a vape shop. So I go over there, check it out, and it wasn't much of a vape shop as much as it was a gambling establishment. And they were, and they have the video machines in there, computers that you play on, which is legal, as long as you don't pay out in cash, according to the state law. And usually you get a phone card or a credit card of some sort to pay you out if you win. I got paid out in cash. And I was kind of like taken back. So I'd like to review their business license and practices, if we could, please.
Absolutely.
Thank
We'll
you.
bring this up in staff, and the city attorney and I and the police chief, we will have a nice discussion about this particular establishment
Thank you.
tomorrow in staff.
Maybe they just need to revamp their plan of business.
In fact, we're probably gonna take a look at some kind of moratorium on vape shops.
Well, and if we do allow that, then maybe we should have some kind of regulation.
Yeah.
State law does not allow.
As to how and what they can sell in those places.
Okay, absolutely.
What kind of activities?
Not necessarily activities, what they can sell. We regulate what they can sell in a party store or a gas station at 10%, no more than 10% of your square footage can be for the pipes and memorabilia or that type of stuff. And adult products could be no more than 10% of any store floor plan in our current ordinance. And maybe we should look at some other ordinances to relate to the vape shops and other shops that may be coming in that we're not quite ready or prepared for at this time. Maybe we should start looking at those.
We'll take a look at it.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? No? Now we're up to show cause hearings. 110 West George.
Anybody here for 110 West George?
Yes. Good evening, my name is Alan Sound, the owner of the property is in the building with me at this meeting. Mr. Emmanuel behind me, he's asked me to speak on his behalf. This is one of several properties he owns in Hazel Park. At one time, he was trying to do a good job in terms of keeping properties.
Mayor Parisi?
Yes.
Excuse me, sir, but we need either yours or the gentleman who represents address.
My address is 45500 Van Dyke, Utica, Michigan, 4317.
Thank you.
As I was saying, Mr. Manuel has owned a few properties, still does own a few properties. Unfortunately, he's fallen on some pretty hard times health-wise as well as personal life. He was trying to save this home. He's trying to do the work, hire the work out. He's finally come to the realization he can't. He wants a little bit of time. I'm not sure where we are. Hopefully, we're not as far along as some of the properties you've been discussing earlier. He had met with a contractor yesterday. He's got another contractor he's going to speak to. Both of them are reputable people who routinely take these properties and turn them into nice homes. That's his plan. As I said, I don't know how far along you are in the process. This is a hearing to consider demolition of the property. Yeah, he's just looking for time.
Well, this property has been owned by him for quite a while, like 6 years. Nothing's been done. He, you know, inspections were canceled and rescheduled, and there. It's to a point of, I'm coming at the last minute, just, you know, with a Hail Mary pass here. I don't have any financials for you. I don't have a contract that's been signed for anybody to renovate this property. He has nothing here. It's also a non-conforming use. It's 839 square feet. We can hear from the building inspector on this one.
Well, Mr. Rupp, if I may, he's come to the realization he cannot do the work that he had hoped to do. So now it's just a question of selling it to somebody who can. And that's his plan, and he'd like to be able to do that.
Where's Arizona?
Pardon me?
Where's Arizona?
Was that the gentleman who was here?
Yeah.
I actually spoke to Mr. Manuel. That could be a third person he might be interested. If you have the list of the various defects that have been alleged, there are a couple serious ones, admittedly, concrete and things like that. Most of them, many of them are all painting, replacing windows and doors, things like that. This house is not nearly to the point that I heard you discussing earlier with that other property, so.
It's also 4 years behind in payment of taxes.
Well, that's gotta be done right before the property can be sold, so those
Oh, well, no, they sell property without payment of taxes now. They
Oh,
do.
yeah.
I don't see how.
They do.
Somehow they do.
I don't see how, but they shouldn't, obviously, and any kind of legitimate sale is gonna require payment of taxes or transfer title.
You said the key word, legitimate.
Well, we gotta record a deed. How are we gonna do that without?
They record them. We get them all the time.
Yep. Sorry to hear that. I do a lot of real estate work, and obviously there is some fraud that takes place.
Yeah.
If I may ask, obviously this is a show cause for the demolition. Assuming the council wants to move ahead with that, what kind of time frame are we looking at?
I don't know. Can we talk to our building inspector?
Okay.
And then we'll talk to you.
All right, well, it's obviously not gonna happen within a couple of weeks, I wouldn't think, and this sale may actually take place within a week or so,
Madam Mayor,
But they'll be subject to paying for the demolition, whoever he sells it to.
Of course, I mean, obviously these contractors,
yeah, Madam Mayor, there's a member of the public that wishes to speak on this.
on this issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Mayor and Council Administration, as you know, this is right in my neighborhood, and this house has been a vacant, derelict property for, pretty much the entire time I've lived here. Yeah, it's been 6 years. It's not been maintained, there's been no effort to do anything to it. The city has been responsible for cuts on it, so taking care of the sidewalks, and it needs to go to house heaven. It is a substandard, non-conforming property, absolutely no good use will come of it, and as was discussed earlier, this is why these processes are in place. You have the public's input at all the show cause hearing, and to come in here at this last ditch effort, and I think someone said ride the wrecking ball in, and possibly sell it to somebody else who is going to once again delay the process for years. Unacceptable. This house is in front of you guys tonight for a reason, and I'd ask that you follow the administration's and building inspector's recommendations and knock it down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, again, I am informed that this house is not to that point yet, and, getting that being the case, I don't see why Mr. Manuel should be punished for other properties that have been ignored and gone beyond this point. We're not at the wrecking ball, I don't think.
I think they want to hear from the building inspector.
Is he here?
Right there.
Oh,
Right here.
sir, come on up.
Roger, come on up.
Put it in quite brief. It would be the recommendation of the building department, building inspector, building official, to follow the order of the hearing officer, which was to demolish the structure. It is non-conforming, it has issues, and it's been going on for years. And like last ditch effort, I appreciate the effort, but reality is what it is. It needs to be taken down, removed, and open the property up for future development.
Mr. Finch, sorry to drag you back to the podium, but in your estimation, do you feel the property is worth renovating at all, or is it just completely derelict?
In my opinion, it does have some, shall we say, some promise of ability to do that, but, when we go on for 6 years or so.
It'll take a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, yeah.
And some more support.
Then you gotta do the numbers on it, once you put that kind of money into it, and if anybody's in the business, would look at this and say, what I got to invest into it, what am I gonna retrieve back out of it? It wouldn't make sense.
Thank you.
Are the taxes delinquent?
I have a.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, and paid in 4 years.
It said several times that it was non-conforming. What makes it non-conforming?
It's 839 square feet and 1,200 is required.
Okay, I don't see, and I may be missing it somewhere, but I don't see anywhere where, under the violations, that this has to be brought up to, what is it, 1,200 square feet? Right, but I'm saying,
That is taken care of during, in front of the hearing officer when they come with a plan, they want to repair something. The hearing officer goes over all the things, okay, it's only 839 square feet, gotta bring it up to 1,200. Do you know that you have to get estimates for that? We'll table this so you can come back and get estimates from your contractors, so you're not throwing money away. I mean.
but these people haven't been to the hearing officer.
Because they choose not to come.
I don't know why they weren't there. I don't care why they weren't there. They haven't been there, so nobody has told them that it has to be brought up to 1,200 square feet. So if he's conveying to the people who are potential purchasers for this, and they don't know it has to come up to 1,200 square feet, they might think, oh, it's a great deal, I can do a few things to this and make a profit. He doesn't understand that there has to be an addition to this house.
Well, I would think a reputable contractor is going to know, he's gotta do an addition, he's gotta bring it up to a conforming use. The people who do this kind of work usually know what they're doing.
Well,
They
the
don't-
people who do this kind of work don't buy houses like this, put $80,000 into refurbishing them when the market is $70,000.
Well, let me ask you this, the homes in that neighborhood, and I'm not an expert, they look like they're going for $50,000, $60,000 for a nice home.
Okay.
You know, you're talking about $20,000, $30,000 maybe of repairs, maybe your building inspector can give us a better estimate of that.
I don't know, I looked to have an addition put on the top of my house one time, and it was $50,000 in the 1990s.
Yeah, I don't think they'd put it on top, though.
Well, wherever they put it, they're gonna have to put 400 square feet on
Yeah,
here.
well, understandable. I mean, I understand the issues that, and the situation you folks are facing tonight. As I said, I don't know if it makes more sense to demolish a property and have somebody build a new one as opposed to taking at least a shell of a property and fixing it up.
With all
Assuming
due
that
respect-
that happens.
With
I
all due
mean-
respect, Counselor, you know how many people have said
Thanks,
that?
Raj.
Every
Yeah, I
single
know.
person that came up here.
I'm
And you know what
sure.
they do? It turns and you sell it to Mr. Joe. And then Mr. Joe sells it to Mr. Sam, and Mr. Sam sells it to Mr. Al.
Of course.
That's what we see.
I'm sure it happens.
Nothing happens, and these poor people have to have their property devalued because of it.
Well, I'm sure it happens. I can't represent that it's not
More
going to happen.
times than you care to imagine.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
the legal counsel here is making a valiant effort, but I think the conclusion here is obvious. This has been.
Well, I'd like to have some
going on.
discussion.
And regardless of our decision here, he still has another alternative.
I think we need to have some discussion at the board here, don't you, Mr. LaCure?
Yeah, sure.
Again, council, I apologize, I was late, but I can just tell you a dormer, just a dormer would be 20 grand at the very least. That's what we're doing on some of the land cure houses. So, a full-on addition would be way above and beyond what you're talking about. So,
There is simply no good reason to forestall this process.
Well, let me just make a final comment. What is the alternative then? You tear down the house, you got a piece of vacant land there.
And builders are coming in and wanting to buy them and build on it.
And build, how much are you gonna build a house for? And in today's market, again, a house that would conform to the current ordinances on that lot, what would it cost to build something like that?
Well, I've not been asked to put any sort of an estimation together regarding plot coverage, lot coverage,
Sure.
height, size, so forth, so that would be something that have to be analyzed and brought back to that. I'm not prepared.
Can I ask this?
With all
Wouldn't
due
it be less
respect, it's not
expensive?
for him to cross-examine our building inspector. The issues under the ordinance do not say, okay, if the property is vacant, it's one of the, things that you need to look at, one of the elements. It's not. It's the way this house is. This house is in a dilapidated state.
I'm not cross-examining, sir, I hope I didn't insult you at all. I'm just trying to make a point. Isn't it less expensive to renovate that house than to build a new one? And if you can't answer that, you can't, that's fine. And I'm not trying to I'm not in a courtroom here, I'm not trying to create that situation. I'm just hoping maybe the council will realize maybe there's a better way to solve this problem and put a family, as you were discussing earlier, into that home a lot quicker than it may never happen.
Okay, but what you're saying, and let me ask,
we close the
our
public
council,
Councilman Keaton,
yes.
I think we should close the public hearing so we can have some discussion here, if the gentleman's done.
Thank you for your time. Excuse me, would this be something that's going to take place at a given time?
Yeah, they're gonna discuss right now, they make this.
Thank you. We'll wait.
So, you had mentioned several times that we've been in this predicament where Joe, Sam, Bill, and Sally trade this house down the line. We order it demolished tonight. What happens to the next person who purchases this?
We record the order of demolition with the Register of Deeds so that as soon as they look, the title company looks on it or anything they do, they have notice that it's to be demolished.
Because we've had people here before us that say, I just bought this, I had no idea that you were gonna tear it down.
We do our due diligence. If they don't do theirs and look with Register of Deeds to see if there's any orders that plow the title, I can't help them.
But, of course, a reputable construction company would look at that.
What was the operative word?
Reputable.
Well, so what he's asking for is time to sell it. It's gonna take us, what is demolition in 30 days? That's a month. If he's gonna sell it, he's gonna sell it. And if these people,
They'll be subject to whatever your order is.
wanna put in the $70,000 for a $60,000 house, or $80,000 for a $70,000.
Sir, what did P.T. Barnum say?
All right.
There's one born every minute.
Councilman Keaton, I got something I would also like to bring up. In the past, we've dealt with different sorts of situations on somebody's homes. Many of them, correct? Some have been actual homeowners that are trying to redeem their home and save it. And some have been actual investors that did buy one or two homes. And we've made them show their net worth to be able to come forth and put the bonds and securities up in the past to repair those homes when things were really, really tight and bad out there. We were demoing too many homes. It was having an adverse effect on the neighborhoods. We didn't want to keep going at that pace.
We've been over backwards.
And we've been over backwards and made several exceptions and several times. But in all the cases that we have heard, one thing stayed continuous. If we thought a home was bad enough, we made a decision to put the home into demolition because there was nobody really concerned or making an effort forward to take on and repair that home.
Maybe I didn't make myself clear enough. What I said was, if we order this demolished today, it's exactly what he's asking for. He's asking for time to sell it. It wouldn't take place in a couple of weeks. This sale may take place in a week. We're giving them 30 days.
I got you. I
would move that we follow the administration's recommendation.
I just want to make a clarification for the record.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's what I was trying to do for the attorney up here, so that they have the right to appeal in 21 days, they all do.
Well, I've said, several times after he mentioned 2 weeks, we have 30 days before we do this, so.
Yeah.
That's my motion.
And I support it.
And it's supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. on our, anybody representing here?
Yes.
How you doing?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members. My name is Marie Gary, and I'm an attorney representing Mr. Ibrahim regarding this matter.
We need an address, please.
2112, my address is 19320 Bauman, that's Detroit, Michigan, 48203.
Thank
you.
Pardon?
Name and address.
My name is Athir Ibrahim. Address is 19320 Bauman, Detroit, Michigan, 48203.
What we want to express to the members here today, my client just became the owner of this property several months ago. He explained to me that he was given a list of violations. He's made attempts to get some of the defects repaired. He does have an estimate for some electrical work that needed to be done there. He tells me that the electrician tried to get a permit, but the city would not allow the permit to issue because the show cause hearing was pending. My client is willing to post a bond. This is a multiple dwelling unit. He intends to live in one of the units, so he wants to be part of the community. He's been trying to keep the premises as clean as possible while this process is pending. I understand he may have missed an inspection 1 or 2 times. He is willing to pay for the inspector's time if he did miss the inspections. He's also willing to post a bond to show you that he has intentions and is making the effort to fix this property up and to live in it himself. I would offer my client for any additional questions you would have.
I just have a comment on what you were saying, Marie, and that's with regard to, he just got this property a couple months ago. Okay, the deed was in February, number 1, and number 2, the deed shows that he got it from somebody else who was at the same address as him, who didn't do anything for years. So you're living in the same house and you don't know that the house has to be fixed up, and let me just switch names again? Here we go.
No, you're right about that one, but I did my research before I even bought this property. I went down to the city before I even purchased the property. No violations made over there. Last time inspection was made where, I believe it was 2008. And I seen all the violations on there. Before I did anything, I came up here, tried to get the permit through the legal way.
And you purchased it for how much money?
It was a gift. I took over the taxes on it, and that was it.
Then the taxes are still
Taxes are-
delinquent to $18,000?
We got a payment plan with the county, and I'm returning on them every month.
We haven't received any money from the county on this, because there has been a payment.
I mean, Oakland County is,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, arranges with me.
That's why
We know.
had discussions with the county treasurer with respect to the deficiency, just plain and broken.
You have seen these uncorrected violations?
I've seen a few of them, the last inspection was made there was 2008. Then only inspection came out there, inspector came out there was an electrician. When he gave me the violation, I gave it to my licensed electrician, he gave me a quote on it. Tried to pull a permit, they shut him down.
Well, these.
Just an electrician came out there, nothing else.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is, I hope whoever gave you this wasn't your friend, because they put you in the briar patch. These are all the violations that are uncorrected, not electrical, I mean.
Yeah, plumbing, mechanical.
A whole bunch of stuff. And, you're willing to pay the taxes and do all these things?
Yes, sir.
That was 8 years ago.
No.
That inspection.
Especially at 2008.
Yes.
I can only imagine what's wrong now.
It's worse now. We just can't get in because.
No, excuse me, man, the electrician did come up there. They inspected it.
That has nothing to do with the condition of the property and not following the hearing process.
Understand it?
You follow the hearing process. We pay to get you served notice to come to a hearing to discuss this. You don't show up, we have to move forward. You know, your nephew doesn't show up, nobody shows up, you schedule an inspection, you're not there. The city spends a lot of money going after owners, giving them notice under the law, and doing everything that we're required to do. We have to then get a search warrant from the judge, which costs time and money. So you can sit back and do nothing for how many years? And your nephew is the same person as you, as far as I'm concerned. You knew what the condition was, you're gonna take it as a gift now, so that we have to serve another name, and maybe you get more time in the process.
Well, I already knew it had a lot of violations on it.
All right.
I'm not certain to tell no stories, you know.
Councilman needs to talk.
You were in front of us not very long ago.
A couple months ago, yes, sir.
What did we have you do at that time?
You know what, it was to be honest, I'm not gonna say, you told me, I don't understand what you guys were saying. You guys were saying.
Let me refresh your memory. You came to us and said, oh, it might be about $30,000. And we maybe not so kindly laughed at you, because we know that it's gonna take $80,000 or $100,000 to bring this up to a livable standard at least.
Yes, you guys did say that, but.
And we told you to get the inspections, have it re-inspected, and it's been a couple of months and you haven't been able to do that. You're gonna post a bond? I think the bond would be about $20,000.
That was $10,000.
I don't care what it was. You remember that real well, right? You remember that.
And you guys said it would cost over 100 to fix it.
And you haven't gotten anybody to come and inspect it from the city? You've missed 2 appointments. We stood here at the city hall and said, get the inspectors out here, have this place looked at, get your estimates from contractors to get real quotes of what the repairs are gonna cost on this. And have you not done that yet? That's all I need to know. Because this is a property that we really has some character.
It does.
This is a kind of property, and, you know, it's a shame that somebody just wants to sit there and play games.
With all due respect, I wasn't trying to play no games.
It's been 2 months at
I
least
understand that, yes,
since you were here, and you've done nothing.
But to be honest with you.
You've done nothing.
No, to be honest with you, what it was misunderstanding. Because last time I was there, you guys told me that you guys would contact me. I didn't do nothing.
No.
I'm not
We
I'm
never,
not
no, it's your responsibility to contact us every
I understand
time.
that, yes.
We don't tell you we're gonna call you.
The other part is, Councilman LaCure.
Sorry.
Is you're supposed to set up the appointment for the reinspection. I believe we asked for a total reinspection at your cost. So you could, because you're the one pursuing us to save your property. And you didn't do that.
I would point out that he is making payments on the taxes. He is making an effort.
Counselor, what is his payment schedule on the taxes?
Do you?
Yes, it's every month, $500.
You want to check on that? City Hall, I don't believe that they're getting $500 a month.
Well,
That's neither here nor there.
I'll just in a second.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Please continue. That's
I'm making my payments every month on the taxes.
So he's putting a lot of effort into it. He wants to move into the property, he wants to fix it up. This isn't somebody that wants to rent it out, he plans to reside there. He has made an effort, he has dealt with the taxes.
One more question for you, Madam
Sure.
Attorney. How long have you been, and you don't have to answer probably, but when did Mr. Ibrahim contact you about this property?
Several weeks ago.
Several weeks ago.
Correct, and I reached out to Roger Pinch, trying to get some background, and he referred me to Jeff Campbell, and I wasn't able to get any responses from anybody to try to move this forward.
I guess easier to hire an attorney or cheaper to hire an attorney than to do the work.
Well, he's trying to do the work.
We gave him some things to do. to save this property. Get estimates, real estimates, qualified bids on the work. He hasn't done that, so he's not trying. Hoping and wishing isn't trying.
Jeff,
It's been over 2 months.
Is this a non-conforming use? No.
There were two inspections scheduled. You were aware of those inspections?
I believe so.
Right, okay. So not only is it not trying to repair, but notification was given or mutual agreement was reached. The inspections came about. He didn't show up for 2 inspections. We asked him to get the estimates to show him more than us that it's really gonna cost more than he thinks it's gonna cost. None of that happened. And we're talking about, this property was inspected in January of 2008. That's how long this property has been around plaguing this neighborhood. You're probably living next to an abandoned house in Detroit. I know how you feel. Trust me.
Actually, I got no neighbors over there. There's a big
Yeah,
house
right.
across.
They've all been torn down. It's just, we can only go so far.
Mayor Parisi,
Yes.
have you actually opened the public hearing yet?
No.
Let's do that and close it.
No.
I think he's doing.
Does anyone wish to speak from the public?
I know the administration wishes to address this after the public hearing.
Okay.
If you have nothing further, you can sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Jeff Campbell, Assistant City Manager, Deputy City Attorney, Head of the Building Department, and Roger Dinch, the Building Official, are here to address the
I believe you guys can correct me. He appeared before us in June. Was it June
14th?
June 14th?
14th.
Yeah. Said he was going to do a number of things. There were 2 inspections scheduled. Nothing was done. There's questions to, as you will see in the 2008 report, there was a lot of water in the basement. And we at that time asked the gentleman owning it what happened to water in the basement, because there was concerns of it been sitting there for so long, where the heck it went. Because if it was draining into the sewer, it could be toxic. That's a huge problem that was never answered. B, $500 a month in the tax payment, regardless if we're receiving it. If we are, but at 18% per annum, which is what the statutory charge is, if I'm not mistaken, based on what the Public Act 123 states. It would take who knows how many years at 18,000. I'm with you guys. I love this building. It's sort of a tragedy. We actually had a buyer previous to his nephew who purchased it. He got it. The applicant got it for $1. The previous guy got it for $1, and we had a one. Before that, I walked the property with the MEDC, who we wanted to sell it to a 3D printing company, which would have been the best idea, coolest thing we could have done. The bank, instead of selling it for $20,000, decided to sell it to his nephew for $1. Sometimes I can't explain the banking industry for the life of me. I
took the bailouts.
Yeah. Yeah, so what do I know? I'm just a simple assistant city manager. On top of that, there were 2 inspections scheduled. He showed up to neither. I received a letter from the attorney that was dated the 21st of September, which is 6 days ago, which I actually got on the 22nd, and actually responded yesterday that we would not be, that she needed to show up to the hearing because we're not going to, based on the previous actions, schedule a meeting prior to the show cause hearing and work out some kind of deal, because the deal at this point, in my opinion, is not viable, and that is that. Roger can speak to what's going on with the property. But basically, I've walked it. It needs at least the estimate I got in 13 was over 100,000 when I was walking it with a contractor. Probably needs more than that, who knows? It's been in a state where it's sat vacant since probably before 2008, needs a ton of work. I love the building, think it's got as much character as any building in this town. It hurts my heart in a way, but it is what it is. Anything to add? Sorry.
Well, as Mr. Campbell indicated, it's been since '08. The basement was flooded at the time, and when that sort of condition occurs in a building over that state of time, and you have what we call the freeze effect in the water with the freeze effect in the ice, and we all know ice moves things in many great ways. It could have affected the foundation walls and so forth, but we've not been able to gain entry to the lower level. And even if they pulled all of the boards off and got us down to the lower level, we probably wouldn't be able to access this. Probably, my guess would be at this point, as it was 8 years ago, it's probably got 10 foot of water in the basement, and it does take its toll on a structure when it's allowed to go to that point, to that degree. So we've probably got some extreme things going on. Maybe not, but more than likely, over 27 years of doing this would be my experience to say it's probably got issues that has occurred because of the allowance of the flooding of the basement and the freezing effect that occurs, and whatever else has gone on since we've been in there, who knows? And it's not outrageous to say it's 100,000 plus, without even getting in the basement, looking what's going on down there.
When I visited with the MEDC, we literally stuck a broomstick through a hole to see how close the water was. It was that close from the level we were at, back in 2013.
That's up to the first floor.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, if this building wasn't made well and wasn't made with steel back in whatever, in the 20s, it would have collapsed in itself long ago. But no one has cared for this gem, and we haven't had a responsible owner. And again, it honestly hurts my heart because I love this building.
Yeah. That's what happened the last time we were here, is because it played on our heartstrings, and the mayor and I have, we love that building. And it's, if I had my druthers, we'd say, okay, fix it up in 6 months or give it to the city. But we can't even fix it up. We can't afford that kind of money to fix it up.
No, I can't. Even if I were to pull every dime from land cure to
right,
try I'd be dissolving land cure within 3 months. I'm sorry. So
yeah, it's terrible.
It is.
It's terrible that this has to
It
go this
wasn't
way.
maintained, and that's what happens.
Madam
For a
Mayor,
good thing, yes.
if everybody's done, I'd like to make a motion that we follow the administration's recommendation to demolish the structure within 30 days.
Support.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.
Can I just say one more thing before I leave? Can I just say one? I could fix the building up, but if you guys want me to do, give me a chance, I understand.
It's done now.
I understand that. I can donate to you guys, so you guys love so much. I paid my taxes on this building, you guys can have it. I'm donating to the city if you're ready to write.
We cannot do that.
Okay, thank you, man. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
But
Don't worry about it. So, I lost enough money in my lifetime, it ain't nothing.
All right, man, thanks.
This one will be interesting. It's 146 West Milton.
Is anyone from 146 West Milton in the audience? I don't think that there is. Well, there is one from the public.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
This is the house where the gentleman died a year ago in it, and we found his body, and it's a hoarder's house. And we've already spoken with the last known relative of the owner, and he wants nothing to do with the house. And the other lady that was occupying it, I spoke to her guardian that was appointed by the court, and she is in hospice, and they don't want anything from the house. She's not gonna make it. It's just a matter of time. And so anyone who has any type of legal interest in the house wants it gone. They don't want it
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
addressing Mr. Pinch, in the recommended motion, I don't see anything in here about being emergency or.
It should be.
It should be.
Why don't you add that, Councilman? It should
It
definitely be.
should definitely be.
So I would move that we follow the administration's recommendation, and we did have public hearing, right?
Yes.
Does anyone wish to
Administration's
speak? Wait,
right.
we do have one member of the public that wishes to speak on this.
I'm going to the podium. Just briefly, I appreciate you guys moving quickly on this. We all know the situation with Don and Kathy, and it's hard to put into words. They were good people, and nobody really saw this coming, but the neighbors appreciate how quickly the city came in and got the outside cleaned up and have moved forward on the demolition process, and it does need to come down. We're hoping for good communication to know when it's gonna happen, because we're all gonna have to keep our windows closed tightly. And I guess that's it. Thank you, guys.
We will be having an exterminate.
Yeah, we'll take some precautions with
Yeah.
this one due to the hoarding and the fact that there was a.
Yeah, just one final thing. All of the cats that were in the home have been removed from the property, all the alive cats
Yes,
anyway.
thank you.
So all the cats are safe and rehomed, except for one who's at the pound and available to adopt.
No thanks.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I
Yeah.
would move that we follow the administration's recommendation for demolition on an emergency basis.
Support.
I'm sorry.
Discussion.
I just want to commend, actually, the code enforcement and the administration who took really swift action on this when we discovered what was going on. This house is set back a certain amount of way and was really hard unless you walked up there to really quite smell it. We had to do disposal of human, cat feces at a land dump that was ungodly and cost us, quite frankly, the city quite a lot of money due to the circumstances. And obviously, you guys are aware of the owner and his situation and what transpired there. But this is a come down immediately. And we acted really fast, and with a lot of coordination between departments, and I wanted to commend the departments for acting so quickly, specifically code enforcement, who got really on top of this one really quickly and rectified it within really about 3 days of discovering what the heck was going on.
Yeah, what good code officers we have is attested to by this property, because one of the code officers actually procured a search warrant from the judge to get into this house on her own. She helped the police department, or we wouldn't have been able to get in.
We had a clerk who noticed something with the surviving occupant, something strange there, and that there was an issue.
Yeah, in fact, we couldn't discover the issues that were there on our own. We had to have somebody else come in to find the issues because it was so hazardous in there.
Yeah, we call them special. This was just, this place was a disaster on so many levels. So now
My discussion was, do we need to have anything abated on this property?
no, we'll take all precautions.
Things I've already, I know there's some hazmat stuff that's been removed. Do we need to go further?
We took everything that we legally could take out of the house at this point. The bid documents will include that the house is not to be cleaned out, but everything inside gets demoed with it and removed from the property. We will have people there to eradicate anything, any vermin that come from the house before it's demolished, so we don't have them coming from one house and going to the neighbor's house. So we'll do everything that we can possibly do.
And we did find a great hazmat guy that worked with us, and for a very reasonable price, and so if we need him for anything going forward, but as the city attorney noted, our intention is to demolish the property in its entirety with all the remains, as long as we get, bomb it with whatever needs to be done for rats and any other vermin or pests going forward, but at the same token, it needs to come down as soon as possible for as resident Holland stated, otherwise the windows have to be closed, because, yeah, it's gotta be happening as ASAP. We can make it an emergency 7 to 10 day bid process, and we'll get that done, dusted and down as soon as possible.
That's the motion.
We open for,
Call the motion,
Oh,
open 2046 Milton.
we already made the motion.
Yeah.
Call.
Yes,
Yeah.
call the question.
Call the question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Communications?
Department heads, do you have anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I apologize, my wife came in from, working out and said, "What are you doing sleeping?" So, I do apologize, unless I'm here in an absolute rush. I don't know what happened with the tabled items, and I would like to address those if we didn't address those.
We did, they're us 416.
Yes.
What,
Not the
416 and off. I would also recommend if we tabled, or carpentry, that we deny the business license on that, because they have not done anything to, fix, the sign problem with notice. And actually, I think, we've issued a landlord ticket as well. So if we wanna go back, and remove that from the table and deny that business license, we could.
Madam Mayor, the administration respectfully recommends that council remove that item from the table.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we deny the business license for Orr Carpentry.
Support.
Discussion?
Yeah.
What actually does that entail?
The clerk will send out a letter denying the license. They must cease business. If they don't cease business or correct the violations to get a license, then the building is ordered to be padlocked until they come into compliance.
Thank you very much.
We gave them notice in July that their sign that Ed's granddaughter could have done a better job erecting was not good enough. They put it up, I think, in panic prior to the Memorial Day parade, thinking that was going to suffice, and it's awful. So thus, tickets have been issued and they received a notice in July of the scenario prior to this. So we've given them plenty of time thus. And they haven't filled out their proper landlord license thus. We just wanted to deny the business license to stop them working. They were actually, and just so you guys are aware, they are also the owners of the building we just demoed to the immediate south. If you remember the woman who wanted to say the convenience store that was without doing anything for.
I think that went on for 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10 years that one.
Miss Not Hot, I believe is her name.
Yes.
And it goes, and as they say, the song goes on and on.
She wanted the city to loan her some money to fix it up.
Yeah, she wanted us to pay, or something, yeah, I don't, that was craziness.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Lastly, I wasn't here for, I wanna make sure everyone understood, and I'm sure, the city manager explained the certified abandoned, ordinance, I assumed it passed, okay. It just gives us the opportunity, we don't have to, but we can set up some criteria to stop, or accelerate the foreclosure process if we clearly see it's abandoned property, whether that's by the fact that we've been mowing the lawn or whatnot. I think it offers us a good opportunity to catch some of these properties earlier and cost the city less money, not only in maintenance, but in chargebacks as well. Because, not only would an additional year of taxes come on, but that 18% interest also is charged to us too. So it offers us a unique opportunity, and I think we can be leaders in the county in doing so. They approached us first, and also as one of the conditions, I don't know if Mr. Klobuchar told you this, I think I might have mentioned it in the memo. Along with this came the idea that we are going to get a look at the potential deals that will be going forward that Mr. Meisner may or may not make upon our recommendation and our state, which was by far, while this resolution is a good resolution, I think that's as quite as important as the potential certified abandoned is that we get a look at the potential deals he's looking at making. As we saw with the last applicant up here for the John R. property. That's why I asked.
I have one question for Jeff.
Sure.
So you can clarify for the public, I get these same questions every week, probably 10 times a week. Explain to everybody what is going on with the project on 9 Mile where the new building is expanded, so we can all stop giving up.
All right, so basically, it's still sort of under discussion, but he's basically, my understanding is the restaurant that he was initially supposed to work with left him. So now he has looked at different owners who might come in and do restaurants. He offered the building to somebody for sale for $1 million, which is, he has put money into it, but it is still not worth anywhere near $1 million. However, we'll be
happy to tax it.
Yeah. The latest thing though is, and I think he does have a potential occupant, is, and it's nowhere near to me as attractive as a, and he might have to go before the planning commission for this, because of the certain plumbing requirements as a physician's office as well. There are some things that need to be worked out with this gentleman, but I think he's willing to work with us based on the fact that he took advanced transmission and made it, you know, something.
Right, he's invested a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, I don't think it will sit, I do not think it will sit vacant. I've already received offers from other people. There just needs to be a meeting of the minds and a discussion with the gentleman stating that he's not going to get $1 million for it. And he needs to either lease at a reasonable rate to something that is desirable in the town and or sell it for what I would call, you know, fair market value instead of $1 million.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Do we have a construction completion date on this?
I don't believe so. I think, so basically the outside was done, some windows have been put in. I think he's sort of waiting now to see what is exactly going to go in there before he finishes that up completely, which isn't totally unusual. It's what Ashley's doing, frankly.
Right.
Ashley Capital's doing the same thing, but what I can figure out in the next week, and by the time we have the next meeting, or get an update with you from you within 2 weeks, is bring Tony's his name. His son is much more. They are an Albanian family, and his son is going to law school and is much more communicable with Ed and I when we meet with them. So we will schedule something in the next 2 weeks. We've just been swamped with whatever we've been swamped with, and including Mackinac, the various things that have been going on, and we'll get him in. He's canceled on us maybe once, so I will get him in the next week or two.
So the idea that it was going to be a restaurant, and I'm not too familiar with the regulations that are required with grease traps and those kinds of things. Are those things being put in there?
No, not at this time. I mean, first off, I don't believe he has a liquor license, which he would have to buy within the county. In fact, he'd have to get a permission from a bunch of different churches that are within the limit, because there's, I think, 3 right next door. And not that they would necessarily have a problem with it, I don't think they would, because he was talking about doing, like, when they came to us, they were talking brunch, all these things, blah, blah, blah. No, I think that basically what they're sitting on is spec right now, and waiting to see what has perspired. The only update I can tell you is that I did receive notice from the DEQ to make sure that if there was any asbestos at the property, that it was disposed of properly. Now that's on them. However, I don't believe there was a ton of asbestos because it was a pure concrete building prior to. So I don't think that that's going to be anybody's issue going forward. So we shall see.
Thank you.
Lastly, I want to say what an honor it was to represent us for the Community Excellence Awards up in Mackinac. I was really proud of our project. Even though we didn't win, I thought we did the best presentation. I thought Mr. Stein over there had the best video. I thought Ed did the best presentation, and we did the best we could. We couldn't compete with, in some ways, what ours was conceptual. We lost to the city of Beaverton, which had a tangible thing that they completed. And as my wife stated, who graciously worked the booth, the volunteer members from Beaverton who stayed in Mackinac City on their own dime, wore red vests and looked like they were at the Piggly Wiggly, worked at the Piggly Wiggly, as she stated, God bless them, and came and worked their booth. But I was extremely proud, and we did. I mean, we won a place for talent in the state of Michigan, which is something to really, really be proud of. And I was proud of our representation, and we got a lot of compliments, not only on what we did, on the plan, on Hazel Park, and it continues. I was again watching the Lions game, much to my chagrin, on Sunday, and there's a Malibu commercial with Mabel Gray front and center that is on TV now. It appears like it's mostly on Sundays because Chevy does a lot of car commercials during football games. But it's really amazing to see what's happened in the last couple of years, and you're to be congratulated. And CNU was very pleased. I informed them of what was happened, and they were extremely pleased and thrilled of the outcome that we had. So thank you to those council members, Councilman Lucuro, Councilman Mayor Parisi, Councilman Webb, that attended the conference. It was not what I'd call a relaxing conference for certain members of us, but we did our job, and I was proud of the city of Hazel Park throughout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, to echo a little bit about what Jeff said, really it was an honor just to win. I mean, there were multiple communities that we had to beat to win the Place for Talent nomination, and we won that. And while they don't announce the vote totals for who won, I have it on good authority that it was really tight between Hazel Park and Beaverton. It was a handful of votes. So we did very well. Again, I want to thank everybody that went up there. We did have the best video by far. We raved about our video, so Leland, great work on that. Leland Stein, our cable coordinator, we need to put that video up on cable TV and start running it. We can show the world, because we should all be very proud of that. With some good work there. And again, Jeff and I also, besides doing, I had to do the presentation for the Community Excellence Award, we also did a presentation on community engagement. And one of the things that we talked about was the wonderful residents of the city of Hazel Park. We talked about how we were able to achieve some of the things that we did achieve, and the only way that we were able to achieve it is because we were able to engage community participation and community support for our endeavors. Everything from SMORSA to the Congress for the New Urbanisms, charrettes, we get great community participation and turnout and support in this town. It's incredible. So while we told them, you may be able to emulate some of the things that we've done, and we'll share what we've done with you, you're not going to be able to steal our great residents, because that's the secret sauce and how much they believe in this community. So again, it was an honor to be up there, and really Hazel Park should be very, very proud for our win in the Place for Talent competition, because it is a serious big deal, and they're going to talk a little bit about us in the MMO magazine in the future in terms of how we did this. And I'd also like to congratulate Andy Lucuro for being elected to the Board of Trustees. I was the first representative from the city of Hazel Park to, I think, ever sit on the MML Board of Trustees. And in recognition of Andy's service to the league and his many years of accomplishment, everything from completing level 1 and 2 for the Elected Officials Academy to the fact that he's actually one of the few elected officials that actually went to Saginaw Valley State University and earned the Certified Public Manager designation, which is usually reserved for appointed full-time officials. I think he's going to do a great job. He's served on multiple committees, so no city has ever succeeded itself with representation on the board, and Hazel Park's the first city to do that. So congratulations to Andy. LaCuro.
Thank you.
And on his election to the board. I hope you enjoy your service on that board as much as I did. Truly, it's one of the best boards that I sit on. It's a well-run organization. You have an opportunity to make a real difference in terms of influencing public policy. So congratulations. Again, to echo what Councilman Mike Webb said about Mel Rasmussen. Mel was a gentleman and a good man, and always stayed in Hazel Park, always was Hazel Park, and we will miss him. That's all that I've got. Like I said, I look forward to bringing some of our outstanding police officers and firefighters before you next time, or at least in a future council meeting, to be honored for their heroic actions during the house fire that we had earlier this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Strum?
I have nothing.
Your charge. Councilman Selman?
Thank you, Mayor Parisi. With the things that have happened since our last council meeting, we have several more reasons to be very proud to be from Hazel Park. The things that the city manager has outlined that our city has gained in the way of recognition statewide, I think are just fabulous, and to be lauded, as well as the people from our city council and our administration. And our city employees are just phenomenal, from the first responders on down to the part-time volunteers. I can't imagine living anywhere else and feeling as good about it as I do about living in Hazel Park. I am so pleased and proud of our town. I will again end by saying, if you love somebody, my goodness, tell them so. And if you have children, please hug them every day and tell them that you love them. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. It's been a quite interesting couple hours. Farmers Market, I'd like to say thanks to Jenny and Lee for all the efforts, and it's just turned out more than what I think they expected. And I looked at it and I go, wow, every week there was something new going on, it's growing. And it's just, I hope next year is just bigger than what you guys had this year. And but it's really, I think it got a lot of people out on Sunday afternoon that would normally not be out, just to go walk around, see what's out there. We had some great weather this year on the weekends, was really nice. But I'd like to say thank you again for your volunteering. And to go back to the volunteering, when we were up in Mackinac, talking to other community people in other cities, they asked, how do you get so many volunteers? How do you get people to volunteer? I said, we have people that stand and just do it because they feel the commitment to help. And we have a great town. When you ask for some help, people step up to help you out. It doesn't matter what it is, pretty much. If you're involved with your community, people are going to step up to give you a helping hand. And it's a wonderful feeling in our community that we still have that here in the hard part of the inner city, the little 2-mile square that we are, where we can have that kind of feeling, and it's nice. The MML conference was quite interesting. Some of the classes we took, one was on autonomous vehicles, how to set the legislation for the future of driverless vehicles. This is something that one of the topics we have there was quite unique this time, rather than some of the other classes or get a little humdrum. But this one was quite, Andy was in there with me, it was quite vigorous and a lot of discussion. We had a room full of 60 people in there, 70, and it was a question or 2 questions per every person in the room. It was a quite interesting topic up there. It was a great showing by our administration up there for for the awards and everything. It was great to come into that spot at that point, but Beaverton had their nice little display, and they did a great job with what they did. It was more of a one type of take a building and turn it into your new civic center, and that's what they did. They took an old school and did a really nice job.
And the other two
They were really nice too.
the boat dock and
Very
the
nice.
funding consortium, they were all.
These were tough competitors. I think with our conceptual plan, it was really, really nice how people come over and commended us as well as to how we put a whole different things that happened in our community in the last year, how it's all come together. And they really looked at that and go, wow, how'd you get all that going? And it says something to how our leadership here and our volunteers have all done this by helping one way or another. I gotta say it, again, Mel Rasmussen and his family, I'd like to say, my condolences to them, and Mel had a long-term standing service here, and that's all I can say. Have a good evening, and thank you.
Councilman Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A question for the administration. Do we have a schedule for the next meeting? And do we need an executive session?
A very brief 3-minute executive session. I'm serious, I can get you out here in 3. I don't need anything from you guys, I just need to tell you things.
Right. Want to remind everybody that October 22nd is the October Walk. It was a lot of fun last year. Sounds like it's getting a little bit bigger, and that'll make it all even better. School's open. We haven't had our meeting, it's late in the month, but school's open, and watch out for the kids. It's been this long since we had a meeting. We forgot to thank Julie Fournier for the Hazel Park Arts Fair, the 5th annual Hazel Park Arts Fair, which was a big success. And it was up at the MML. There was a lot of good things. Some legislation that came down that we're going to have to act on soon. And but the autonomous vehicles were just something, you know, be here before we know it, it sounds like. And I will be voting yes for the sinking fund for the schools in November. I would urge everybody else to. I know the history of Hazel Park, and we support our schools like nobody else. And we also know how to pinch the pennies and spend it wisely. That's all I have to say. Thank you for coming out, and have a great evening.
Mayor Pro Tem Keaton.
Yes, farmer's market was a great concept brought to fruition by Jennifer and Lee. And I went over there a number of times and watched them go through the trials and tribulations of having a new business, and they were steadfast. They were steadfast. They kept plugging away, and it turned out very well, and I'm looking forward to next year. Thank you very much. It was interesting. And another little plug, we also had Arts Council had a little booth there, and had volunteers. Amy volunteered probably 90% of the time there for having kids come and do art projects while they were there, and a number of volunteers assisted her, and that turned out very well. You know, a very positive thing for our Arts Council. Thank you very much, Amy. October, on the 22nd, I would also like to mention that the places to stop with the indoor exhibition of art will be open from 5 until 8. So you can actually go into somebody's studio and view the different artists' works there, and some of them will have libations, and it's a good thing. Mel Rasmussen, my wife, was the secretary to the superintendent of schools when Mel was a superintendent. Great guy. I've known him for years and years. Well, actually, since he was vice principal at the junior high school, and he will sorely be missed, and our condolences to his wife, Issa, and their family. And thank you all for coming out and participating in the democratic process. And one more thing, I'm very sad to see the building on John R. be demolished. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I have one more thing, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, yes.
Trunk and treat. Halloween night at Tusky Park. Craig was supposed to be here. I just thought of it. I figured I'd bring it up. He said if he didn't make this meeting, he'll make the next meeting the first part of October to re-announce it. But trunk and treat for all the kids, rain or shine, they're still getting happy. So.
You know, and in that vein, and trunk and treat's a great thing. And we've seen, I think, a shift toward these, you know, the kind of bigger events and parties and things like that. But you know what? I hope our residents hand out candy on Halloween.
Yeah.
I like Halloween as a tradition. I think that it brings a community together when you turn your porch light on and you make an investment and you spend $10 and you hand out candy. So while I think trunk and treat's a great idea, and I hope people utilize it and go, I also hope that people trick or treat and hand out candy on Halloween night.
Lee wants to say something.
I hope we can start.
Oh, just that City Edge Church was hoping for donations of candy, and I know Neighborhood Enrichment was there last year, and they bailed us out a good 5 times, and we were giving 1 piece of candy to each child. So that was very generous of them. They cleaned out stores, but if folks could maybe think ahead of time and see they were clear of donating a bag of candy or some money, I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
I get to make sure, we gotta have a nice day. I bought 2,000 pieces of candy. I ran short with 1,200 last year. Ran out, so. Gotta at least have 2,000 pieces, I think, to handle all the kids.
I need you all for a very, very, very brief executive session.
Yes. Okay.
Move that we adjourn to the executive session.
If you all excuse us for 3 minutes, you can wait for us in the parking lot. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Wait.
We'll be out in a minute.